Hi, everybody. So, I was thinking about tweeting about these trades, um, but frankly, that's just takes too much effort. You got to nitpick with the grammar and stuff. So I thought I would just basically say all my thoughts on the latest trades. I'll even go into the trades that happened before the trade deadline. So it is about midday here in Australia. Uh, so it's I think there's another whole day of the trade deadline to go, but I'll just talk a little bit, express my thoughts about um, the trades that have gone down so far. Okay, so Suns and the Heat, yeah, the trade doesn't really move the needle at all. Um, the Suns do need a point guard. They've got Jamal Crawford running the point, so I guess Tyler Johnson will help in the interim. It seems like Wayne Ellington will be a buyout candidate. So the Heat have reduced their luxury tax bill with this trade because Anderson's salary comes in at less than Johnson's and Ellington's combined. So that's good for the Heat. I think Anderson is an impact player, but he is getting paid a little bit more than what his value is, I believe. So we'll just look at his contract. I think Anderson's a good rebounder and shooter, obviously. Free agent in 2020. So the year of Anderson's contract, I have read that it's partially guaranteed. I'm actually not quite sure what that means, but yeah. So we've got another $21 million partially guaranteed. So $15 million guaranteed. I mean, you really don't want to be paying out $15 million. Like if he was a candidate to be bought out, $15 million is still a lot of money. So I think it was a good move to get Tyler Johnson's deal off the books. You know, he had that poison pill contract, which is about $18 million a year, which is another year. So he'll be a free agent in 2020. I think he's worth around $6 million. I think he's a good defender at his position. I'm not sure how much shot creation he has off the dribble. He can shoot a bit, very athletic in the open court. I just think you need a little bit more shot creation as a point guard. So there's that deal. Doesn't really move the needle much, but the Heat save a bit of money. From the Suns' point of view, I guess it's they value Tyler Johnson unless they're going to buy him out. But I'm not really sure if they're in a position to be a real player in free agency, you know. So I think they might even keep Johnson, but I guess we'll see. All right, this deal, Sixers, Richardson to the Sixers. You know, I'm a big believer that second round picks are quite valuable. You know, I mean, there's the classic cases of Ginobili, Draymond Green, but like last year, for instance, Bruce Brown from Detroit Pistons, I think he's like a top 5 player in the draft class of last year. Watched some highlights of the dude, but he got picked up in the second round. You know, so even though it is in 2022, the value does decrease as more years go by. I don't think I would want to be giving up a pick. I just don't really. I guess the Raptors want to have cash. I'm not sure who this Amir Predators guy is. Sorry if that's a bit offensive to Eastern European people. But yeah, I mean that deal. Malachi Richardson, he's probably worth about $5 million a year, I would say. A bit of a spotty shooter, but he's long and athletic, so he can defend it a little bit. And he's got some handles. But yeah, I don't think that deal really moves the needle much. Here's another one. Future second round pick is a bit vague, but yes, once again, I wouldn't be giving that up. I think Myluk and Bullock are pretty similar players, similar shooting. Bullock actually, I watched a game with him, and he can pass the ball pretty well. So yeah, I mean, he has a bit of value there. So this is a huge trade. So the Sixers are banking on being able to re-sign Tobias Harris, and I think Boban has more value than Harris. Boban is a complete beast inside. I think like the concern is him defending in space, but he can just be deployed as a rim protector and just don't switch, really. or have him marking the worst shooter on the opposition team. Just like the Warriors deployed Bogut on Tony Allen back in that Warriors Grizzlies series. You can do that with Boban, and then defense. He's grabbing most boards defensively. He's altering shots left, right, and center at the rim, and offensively, you have to double him really, and he can make passes out of those double teams. So this is it. It could just be a half-year rental, and I think the Sixers. What did they give up? I mean, Chandler is an impact player, but Mijanovic and Harris, like that value. So this half year, this actually could propel the Sixers into at least Eastern Conference Finals territory. The Clippers are obviously in tanking mode. It's interesting considering they had pretty good record, but I guess they figured the West is so stacked. Let's look at the West standings. Don't do this to me. I don't want to go to another. Where's the West? Clippers are in 8th, and I guess they're a few games ahead. There's like 25 games left or so. They could have made the playoffs, but I guess they're just banking on, that's not really important to us. We're thinking long-term deal. And with a long-term deal, these picks are huge. Those picks are incredible. So, I mean, the Sixers will be pretty good. I mean, as long as they have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, they will be quite a good team for years to come. So that pick will probably be in the 20s from the Sixers. Miami, they'll probably be middle of the range. It depends what they do because they just have a hell of a lot of really large contracts. So if they just get rid of those and become a terrible team, that pick could be extremely valuable. And as I mentioned, second round picks are valuable. So I guess the Clippers didn't think that they would be bothered re-signing Boban and Tobias, and they do shed salary, and so they could be. I think Kawhi is basically a lock to go to the Lakers. I don't know if the Clippers are as an attractive an option there, just because of the branding, and obviously the Lakers have LeBron and some good young pieces. We'll see what happens with them and Anthony Davis. I think if I was the Lakers, I would keep LeBron and Kuzma and then offer anyone else to Davis, really. Kuzma, I think, is extremely underrated. I think he's going to be an absolutely devastating scorer. I think he's quick and large enough to defend 1 through 4. Like, that's huge switchability, So, but anyway, about this trade, I think the Clippers. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about who wins. I'm just going to analyze different facets here. Sixers are banking on re-signing Tobias Harris. But who could they re-sign who might be a little bit better? So I'll just show you a little something I've been working on. So it is a free agency big board. So let's see who the Sixers could use their cap space on. I can't quite remember how much cap space it is, and I can't really be bothered having a look. I know they think Jimmy Butler's an all-star level player. I don't believe he is. I think he's just a bit of a black hole on offense. I think he can guard pretty well, but he played so many minutes under Tom Thibodeau that I think he's got a bit of wear and tear there. I think the Timberwolves won that trade for sure. So who can the Clippers get? These are pretty hot takes, but guys like Tyson Chandler, I think, are a little bit more valuable than Tobias Harris. Anyway, I'll keep that open. I think we need to speed this thing up. Anyway, I actually like Stauskas. I think he's better than Hood. So I think the Cavaliers really came out of that one really well, and the second round picks help. Luau Carabao, I think, is one of the most underrated players in the league. He's a free agent next year. I think whoever keeps him are going to have a great defender who can defend multiple positions. He can shoot pretty well. Great cutter. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the summer league with Luau and Ben Simmons. Like, they had a great chemistry there, and I think Luau would really fit on that Sixers team. You imagine trying to defend. You imagine trying to play against a team of Covington, Simmons, Embiid, Luau, and whoever's at point guard, like McConnell. That's a tough team to face. So, look, Luau is a free agent, so the Bulls receive Luau, but they do have his restricted free agent rights, I believe. So re-signing him will be quite easy. I don't think anyone's going to blow the Bulls out of the water in re-signing him. So we'll see. If the Bulls can re-sign him, that's a great deal, I think. But we'll see. Okay, so this is a huge trade. Mavs and Knicks. I think it all depends on what Porzingis does. Like, there was talk about him accepting the qualifying offer, which would mean that he would definitely leave in the 2020 off-season. But now there's talks that he might re-sign, and it would be a smarter financial move for him. But I guess maybe Porzingis has been in a very tumultuous situation in New York so often. He wants to sign a long-term deal in a place where he knows he can win and there's no issues. Whereas the Mavs, frankly, they haven't been good since 2011. And they've had this sexual assault problem in their front office. So the whole pairing with Doncic thing. I think the Doncic hype. How are the Mavs going? How are the stands? 12. If you've got this generational talent, I'm not sure that in Luka Doncic, I'm not sure you're going to be sitting at 12th. Like, there's some serious questions about his defense, and just general like athletic ability. I think he's still a solid role player, but I think there's a hell of a lot of hype surrounding him. So this all depends on what Porzingis does. Like, when I was first analysing the trade, I didn't realise that there's 2 future first-round picks were being sent. And Danny LaRose says that there's very limited protections on those. So basically, book in the Knicks getting 2 future first-round picks. I think they're 2021 and 2023 or something. So, they're paying off in a while. Look, Porzingis is a good enough talent that if he does re-sign with the Mavs, then it's basically... but those picks are so valuable, 2 first-round picks. And the Mavs, I'm not sure how good the Mavs will be, especially if Porzingis leaves, so they could be highly valuable picks. So the Mavs are truly banking on Porzingis re-signing. I honestly think that the Knicks have actually come out of this really, really well. If it was me, I would have kept Porzingis and tried to trade Tim Hardaway Jr. because his salary is probably 3 times more than he should be paid, in my opinion. Courtney Lee's salary is a little bit bloated. I'm not sure I would have bothered moving him, though. And DeAndre Jordan and Wesley Matthews are expiring contracts who they are probably unlikely to re-sign. DeAndre might. Yeah, if the Knicks are bringing in a guy like Kyrie Irving in free agency, because they have a whole boatload of space, I think Kyrie and Harrison Barnes a good potential match in New York. They're buddies from a way back. They're in the East. Barnes and Kyrie instantly makes them playoff contenders. DeAndre probably would probably want to stay around for that. Dennis Smith Jr., I think the Mavs did well to trade him, but it's just a bit of a shame that they gave up so much in terms of picks and are taking on these salaries. So I think the Knicks win that one. I think Melo is still a great player. I know that's a controversial take, but who else can guard? He's fast enough to guard a guy like James Harden, I think, and he's big enough to guard a guy like Anthony Davis. So he has a fair bit of switchability on defense, and then in terms of his rebounding, his shooting, and chuck it down to him in the high post, whereas the shot clock is winding down, then that's a higher percentage shot than most guys in the league. So I think the Rockets are not going to make the Western Conference Finals. I think Paul Harden and Capella are a great combo. Who do I think could be better though? Better combo. Maybe the Rockets will still with that trio, but yeah, I think getting rid of Melo was a bad idea. Melo's a free agent. I don't know if Melo will play for the Bulls, but Melo is a free agent. So in the upcoming off season, and I'd pick the dude up, frankly. All right, so the Rockets are in gaining picks mode. The Rockets don't have great depth, and Carter Williams can defend a few positions and run the point, run the fast break. Not so much effectiveness in the half-court set. But obviously that's a move for the future. I think Wayne Selden's better than Justin Holiday, but look how much the Grizzlies gave away to get Holiday. And I think it's just for 1 year too. I mean, Selden's only on 1 year, but Selden's an athletic freak, can defend multiple... I sound like a broken record. He can shoot. He can attack closeouts with the handle. I'm not sure Holiday can. Selden can really finish at the rim. I'm not sure if Holiday can. Holiday is probably a little bit better of a shooter, but I think the Bulls have done a really great job here, and these second-round picks can be quite valuable. Marshawn Brooks, bit of a sort of just the Jamal Crawford type, like some instant offense, but actually I haven't watched much of Marshawn Brooks, so I shouldn't really comment. But yeah, I think the Bulls win this one in a big way. I think Grizzlies were in. Let's go for the playoffs, but ironically, I think they've gone backwards. All right, so I actually like Rivers as a player, and I think Rivers and Oubre together have more value than Ariza. Yeah. Oubre and Ariza are free agents this offseason. Rivers has one more. I think he got waived and now he's on the Rockets. Honestly, if I was the Wizards, I would have stayed put with these guys. Maybe they didn't want another year of Rivers, but I think Rivers is worth about $10 million a year, which is around what he was getting paid on this salary anyway. Bring in Ariza. Yeah, he's a bit of a stopgap, but he's a free agent as well, so doesn't really move the needle much either side. But if I was the Wizards, I would have just kept that duo. This pick is a bit to unpack. George Hill's contract isn't great, and it's got another year after this one. Henson's contract has been criticised, but I think he's about worth it. He's had a 3-point shot. He can defend at the rim really well and rebound. Delhi's contract is a little bit bloated, which hurts to say because he is an Australian. But yeah, gaining these picks is a big deal. So I think the Cavs probably win on this one. Yeah. Sam Decker's an alright player too, and the Wizards got him. But yeah, obviously this is a deal for the future for the Cavs. They gain these picks. They're banking on George Hill being better than this Joe, which I don't think he is. I think Henson is better than Hill alone. And the Bucks already had pretty good point guard play, like Eric Bledsoe, Malcolm Brogdon. So they're going to be harder to re-sign now because Hill's contract is running through to next year. But yeah. Poor old Alec Burks are being moved around. In the next video, I guess I'll analyse the Burks trade because I think he's gone to Sacramento now. But I think the Cavs win this trade as well. I like Alec Burks. I think he's got similar value to Kyle Korver. Obviously not the same shooter, but better athlete. Create off the dribble, defend well. And these picks can be used later on, either to take players or move up in the draft. So I think that's a good move by the Cavs. I'm really stoked with what the Cavs have done, actually. They've gained a whole lot of picks. Where's that other one that I liked? Gaining Stauskas, who is a free agent, but gaining Stauskas and two second round picks. Like, I'm liking these deals. I really am. Good on you, Cleveland. It's crazy that they're suddenly underdogs with LeBron going, Like,